Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the North American Star Team League. We are here with two teams, which are Rox.Kis and FXO. They're battling out right now. FXO is up 2-1. Excuse me, FXO is up 2-1. And we're going to head into game number 3. But before we do that, I want to just really quickly touch on the NSQ. The NSQ will start February 9th. And it'll go all the way till March 3rd. Single elimination bracket, $1,000 prize pool. 8 people qualify for the NASL Season 3. So really, really great stuff. Let's go ahead and head into the game and check out what's going on with this. Now, these players are playing the NASTL, which actually is very different than the NASL Season 3 or just the regular NASL season. But what the NASL season, for those of you that don't know already, is individual. It's an individual league where players just duke it out and you're playing for yourself, not for your team. We have group stages, which is just best of 3s. Each group has, I believe it's 9 people in it, so 8 weeks long. You go round robin. And in NASL Season 3, how awesome is this? If you win, you actually get money. That is like, that...
That's a lot of awesome.
That is just so attractive, I think, for the group stages, and helps out so much, especially for the players that, you know, make it to the playoffs but don't make it to the finals. They still get a good record. They're able to win a little bit of the huge prize pool that NASL offers.
Yeah, super awesome, super awesome, super awesome. I mean, I'll be honest. Last season, you know, I may have missed a couple games. But this season, it's all live. And there's money at stake for every single game. That's awesome. So kudos to NASL for making changes for the better in their organization, and they're just going to keep getting better every day.
Yep. So obviously I'm really happy, and let's go ahead and cast more happiness. So we got Timber over here in the bottom right-hand corner, who is actually Leenock from Team FXO. Good Game RU. In the top left-hand position is actually the ex-Brood War semi-professional Frere, hailing over from Team Rox.Kis. So really excited to see this. We already start off with a very interesting opening that we haven't seen, or at least I haven't seen in forever. And this is, of course, the one-gate cybernetics core in PvZ. And look at this, a really, really late assimilator as well. This is kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you don't see this much anymore. The standard is pretty much Forge Fast Expand, as Naniwa said. Forge Fast Expand or die trying. I don't know if that's an exact quote, but he said something to the effect of that. Protoss players need to Forge Fast Expand to stay in the game with Zerg. But Freyr here, trying to flip that idea on its head, going to be walling in on the high ground. And that's interesting, you know, for a number of reasons, not just for that, but because this map, it's so far away. Like, the rush distance is ridiculously far. I feel like it's one of the safest places, in my opinion, to do a Forge Fast Expand. That being said, though, there are rocks here, so that could get a little bit tricky if your opponent, you know, gets a ranged unit like a roach and starts picking off at those rocks. But they do have 2,000 health, so that is something important to consider. But yeah, Freyr opening up with a Zealot and 2 Stalkers, gonna go for some aggression speed. Only about halfway done, so it may get a little bit awkward here for Leenock. He's gonna have some pretty good. He's gonna have to have some pretty good micro here.
Yep. The engagement is first started. The Stalker approaches up here. The Stalker represents a lot of damage, and you know, there's only looks like 50 seconds left for this one Stalker and one Zealot to do any damage, because Metabolic Boost will kick in. As soon as that kicks in, that means there is no return for these 2 Stalkers and the 1 Zealot now. So it might be a little bit of trouble. That's why Freyr is backing up all the way. This 1 Zealot might get caught, but Metabolic Boost is still 20 seconds away, so I think he will be able to get over to his natural.
Uh-oh. Looks like the Zealot's about to get surrounded, but nope, the Stalker's returning back to deal with those Zerglings. They're going to stay away for a little bit longer. Freyr needs to start thinking about completely walling this in, or at least leaving a little bit of a slot for the Zealot to tuck himself into. And that's exactly what he's going to do, adding on that pylon, putting that Zealot in that little spot. Leenock going to come forward with all of his Zerglings, trying to find something to kill. Kind of sad that there's nothing to kill, so he's just going to start trying to poke down the rocks, but Freyr going to have none of that. And, you know, kind of an interesting opening from Freyr. I mean, if you look at the income tab, oh, actually, now Leenock's ahead. Freyr was ahead pretty far in Harvesters, but Leonok just built around a drone, so it's going to be a little bit more even. But yeah, a little bit interesting opening there from Freyr. I feel like he was trying to do some aggression, trying to get his opponent to build a lot of units. And, you know, Leonok bit at first, but just started up with that drone production back up and running, and now it's looking like a pretty even game.
Yeah, this is something we used to see a lot in the metagame, maybe, gosh, I want to say 6 months ago or 8 months ago, somewhere around there, where it was always 1-gate expand or 3-gate expand, something like that. And Forge Fast expansion wasn't seen as too strong of a build, but of course now it's drastically changed, and we see Forge Fast expansion probably the more normal than anything else. You know, it's kind of weird that Leonok went so many Zerglings at the early game stage. I think he was trying to really punish his opponent for having so many units out in the field, but of course not going to do that much. Now Freyr has a ton of sentries, and this will allow him to potentially have some sort of timing as soon as that +1 attack finishes.
Yeah, and it looks like a hallucinated Phoenix coming forward into the main base of Leonok, seeing the progress of that layer, also sees the Roach Warren on the ground. So Freyr sees all, looking around for a third, and Leonok does not have a third. So Freyr may be a little bit confused. Hey, where's your third, dude? What are you doing on 2 bases? Why do you have 4 gases and no third? So Leonok definitely investing a lot into tech, has, you know, all 4 of his gases completely saturated, doesn't have a third, getting +1 missile attack, getting Burrow as well, and Glial Reconstitution. So might go for some burrowed roach play. Let's keep an eye on that. And meanwhile, Freyr getting the 4th gas of his own, but Leonok going to be scouting around with that Overseer.
Yeah, that Overseer critically actually sees the most important building, which is the Twilight Council. Now, he doesn't have any indication if there is some sort of robotics facility or not, but right now, Freyr doesn't have that, and that's going to hurt him so much because he needs the observers out. That Burrow will be instrumental in the first fight. If he's caught off guard, all of a sudden he's just burrowing his weakened roaches. It makes the Blink Stalker negated completely. He can just chill out underground, regenerate his health, and all of a sudden pop up, and he's in a terrible, or Freyr's in a terrible position. Leonok is in a beautiful position, and right now it looks like he's pushing out, and this will spell disaster, I think, for Freyr.
He does have a lot of energy on those sentries, but once again, you know, Leonok is going to have Burrow. So once those force fields go down, Leonok can simply just burrow all his roaches and just laugh from underground. I don't know if he has burrow movement. Nope, trying to get it. That's about, it just started on the Roach Warren. And Leonok trying to get a gauge of his opponent's unit composition, sending a Zergling to each watchtower, trying to get some map control. And Freyr being a little bit tentative right now, holding back. I'm not sure what he's waiting for. Does he have an observer in his army? No, not yet. And there's the observer just now being made from the robotics facility. Blink on the way, also getting +2 ground weapons. So it looks like it's going to be a +2 Blink Stalker timing attack with an observer for support. But Leonok's going to try to engage here. Maybe. Nope, backing away.
No, he's going to back away. I like the decision to actually stay. I was actually very, very worried that he was going to go and push out. Just because he got blinked so fast. And I think the blink is just to, actually, now that I think about it, it's actually to counter, or not so much counter, but kind of deal with mutas in a more acceptable way. It allows you to blink around, especially because this particular map is quite big, and you can see kind of some force fields that were missed quite a bit. But overall, he's just staying defensive, going to take his third and hopefully equalize the economy. Right now, Timber, aka Leonok, is up 1 base.
Yeah, Freyr definitely had an opportunity there to put himself up. I mean, Leonok overcommitted just a tad bit with his roaches and Zerglings. Freyr chose to put down his force fields a little bit further back. He could have tried to split that army in half, but which he eventually tried to, but it was too late at that point. But Leonok has to be a little bit more careful. Doesn't want to lose a bunch of roaches for free. Force fields, kind of a good spell, but it looks like Freyr gonna try to take some control of the watchtowers, and Leonok just chilling in the middle of the map, it looks like.
Yeah, and that's really all he can do. The big question is, where does Leonok actually go from here? Because he's going roaches. Roaches aren't the most fantastic thing on a map like Artifice when you're in cross positions. You really want to be going more towards the muta route, just because they're more mobile. They can get around easier. They can deny expansions, do a lot more harass. And, you know, mass roaches can be just army composition countered with Immortals, with Colossus, things like that, especially with Sentries. So we'll see what Leonok does. He hasn't really got too many units, and he's from here he's just gonna, looks like, just keep playing positional.
Yeah.
And just mosey around over here, try his best. Ooh, big blink on top of those roaches. And again, the force heals.
Jeez.
Really hurting, really hurting Leenock more so than helping him. Or excuse me, the opposite
Freyr,
way.
yeah.
Freyr.
Yeah, those force fields are, completely, misplaced. But either way, Freyr coming forward to the natural threat. Has 2 immortals in this competition. Force fields have to be pretty good here because Leenock is going to be on every single side. Force fields blocking off the roaches from getting down the ramp, trying to block off the infestors and roaches as well. Fungal goes on every single sentry. Roaches burrowing underneath the force fields and unburrowing underneath the sentries, taking down those gas-intensive units. Huge victory there for Leenock. And now all that remains are immortals and stalkers that don't have any force field support, which is never a good thing as a Protoss player unless you have like a billion of them.
It looks like he can still win this fight, but the trade actually goes in favor of Leenock in my position, my opinion, just because Leenock has already gotten that Greater Spire. He has the tech advantage over his opponent, whereas his opponent is still on the mass gateway type army. He's just now getting the Colossus. So when you're trading gateway units, I don't hate it. I mean, if you trade, it basically forces the Protoss to get more gateway units, which delays them, whereas Zerg, they still have to get units, don't get me wrong, but they can get their units a lot cheaper for a lot less gas. That'll enable them to utilize their tech a lot easier. So right now I like Leenock's position, and I think he's in a very, I wouldn't say comfortable advantage, but he's in a slight advantage.
Yeah, he just made 19 drones, Greater Spire about halfway complete, and what I love about him killing those sentries, I mean, whenever you kill a lot of tech of your opponent, something really expensive, that gives you timing pretty much to pretty much do whatever you want, because your opponent, like Freyr, can't be aggressive without all those sentries. He just can't. So Leenock, taking that into account, building 7 corruptors, has plenty of time to get broodlords out. And once these broodlords get out, Freyr's going to be in quite, he's going to be in a bind. He's going to have to figure out how to outmaneuver the composition of Leenock, but how do you outmaneuver infestors and broodlords and roaches? It's kind of tricky. It's definitely an art. Might have to try to go for a base trade of some sort because Leenock's going to have a pretty scary army coming up here.
Yeah, indeed. Now, what I like about Leenock is he's just sharking around the map, keeping his opponent inside his base. Now, finally, it looks like that Freyr is pushing out here. He needs to be careful, losing a lot of stalkers in this engagement here. Yeah. And of course, he needs to keep the stalkers alive for those broodlords. So we'll see if that actually hurt him or help him. Supplies right now 175 to 137. Let's go ahead and look at the units tab and see where they're all out. So 5 cocoons being morphed, 85 drones. Oh my god, that's a lot of drones. 12 roaches. Mainly it's going all towards the broodlords. You can see 5 broodlords, 2 more in production right now. So, and drones, I should say also. Drones, that's a little bit, that's maybe 20 more drones than you want, in my opinion. And that could end up really biting him in the ass a little bit later on.
Yeah, I mean, he should consider perhaps trying to build some spine crawlers. He has plenty of money right now, trying to add on an expansion on the bottom left side of the map. But that being said, engagement going to come up here. Freyr coming forward with stalkers. Get fungal growth to about 7 of the stalkers, and all the sentries and the zealots and an immortal get fungal growth as well. Colossus trying to stay in the back, but broodlords coming forward, shooting their broodlings at the Protoss unit composition, losing all of his sentries once again. Goodbye force fields, and Freyr has to back up once again. Wants nothing to do with this composition from Leenock. It is incredibly scary.
Yeah, I think at this point, Freyr just didn't even realize that this army composition existed at this early period. Now stalkers are going to just walk on up, and they get fired upon. Freyr doesn't even realize, and that was a very, very big blunder, I think, from him. Now, a nice fungal growth is going to pick up a lot of units over here. It helps the broodlords actually catch up. Freyr just trying to hold on for dear life.
Yeah, slowly backing up into a corner over here on the left side. Has to start thinking about somewhere else to retreat to, but Leenock pursuing him across the map. Some roaches getting lost for free, but Leenock just worried about the pursuit as of right now, trying to flank. I thought those were Zerglings. Those are actually just broodlings chasing from afar. And, Freyr just continuing to back up further and further, throwing down a Stargate. Roach is going to try to snipe down these Colossus. One gets down to the yellow health. Freyr has to be a little bit more careful about positioning those Colossi. Doesn't want to lose any for free, but now the broodlords are at the front door of Freyr, and you know what? It's going to be tricky here. He has to have, if you try to blink underneath broodlords, you'll just get killed by roaches and infestors. So I don't know what Freyr can do from here.
Yeah, precisely. Now a little counterattack going down in the mid right-hand position. Now finally it looks like the big attack is going to start out right here. Fungal growth does go down on a lot of these stalkers. It might be enough at this point, but the roaches are still alive. That's the big problem. They're actually doing a lot of damage against those stalkers. Stalkers aren't actually target firing any of those roaches. The roaches cleaned up so much of the anti-air of the Protoss army, and now finding that the remaining Colossus will go down. There's just remnants of that army here on the battlefield. The roaches are still going away on all of these stalkers, and some broodlords, just 4 broodlords out in the field, are able to still siege up on a lot of positions and do so much damage.
Yes, be careful now. The broodlord is left undefended. Roaches reinforcing from Leonok's side of the map, going to come clean up these stalkers, and Freyr down to 80. Dwindling supply, I should say. I'm not going to try to say a number because it's just going to change as I say it. But Leonok definitely way ahead in supply. A lot of infestors, roaches on the field. 9 more roaches in production. 1 broodlord finally going to go down outside the natural third of Freyr. Blinkstalkers making quick work of that. But Leonok just reinforcing with only roaches here. I don't think he's remade any of his corruptors. Oh yeah, there we go. 3 corruptors I think I see there. 2, oh, that's actually a lot of corruptors. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 corruptors. So might make some of those into broodlords. So have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, but at this point, I mean, it's a max army to 100, or half of that army. It's not looking too good, or it's not looking good at all for Freyr. Freyr's just about to lose what looks like his 4th base, and that is his 3rd mining base, so he really needed that base, along with both of the gases. Maybe he might be able to hold on. I take that back, but additional units are streaming on in. Broodlords are already being morphed all the way on his opponent's side of the map. That's exactly what you want to have happens, because the corruptors do move much faster than the broodlords, so you can get the broodlords in better position a lot faster. But I don't even think he needs it. The roaches are doing enough damage as is.
Yeah, and going into the natural 4th, trying to take down some probes. 1 Colossi and 4 Stalkers here for Freyr. That's not going to be enough. And here come the 7 or 8 Broodlords forward from Leonok, and, you know, it should be the end pretty soon here, Gretorp.
Yeah, with no anti-air, I mean, it's really difficult to deal with this. GG comes out. And Leonok is going to take it. Game number 4 going to Team FXO. That puts them very comfortably ahead of all the teams. A 3-0 score for Team FXO. So congratulations to them. Do you have any words on this particular game, Axel?
Yeah, I mean, Freyr with the little bit of an interesting opening, as you said, not necessarily a part of, you know, today's day and age metagame. This isn't a replay from 7 months ago. You know, opening with that stalker, that zealot stalker opening, and then, you know, going for a quick natural, quick 3rd, and I think the defining moment of that game was probably losing those sentries at the 1, 2, 3, at the 3rd. I think the 3rd of Leonok, or the 4th.
Yeah.
You know, when you lose like 6 sentries that are full of energy, it's never a good situation. And Leonok was able to hide the fact that he had burrowed roaches for quite a long time, so he was able to circumvent those force fields quite easily. And Freyr went into a spot where he was, quite frankly, cornered.
Yeah, and obviously it was awesome for Freyr. I mean, Freyr definitely, or excuse me, awesome for Leonok. Leonok, obviously, off of that huge loss with all the sentries and those stalkers, was able to tech very aggressively. And as soon as Broodlords popped out, his opponent was just completely under-defended. I mean, he had no way at actually dealing with the army composition at that period in time. You need things like Blinkstalkers. Maybe Void Rays. Void Rays aren't too... you know, aren't too reliable, but you need things like High Templars to clean up things like roaches. You need Colossus to clean up the roaches. Just all these different things to help deal with the Broodlords, but obviously he didn't have it. So really, really a shame, but that's going to do it for this particular clan war. So 3-1, as I said before, going to FXO, and that actually wraps up the entire series. So now I'm going to ask you, Axel, any thoughts on the entire series? We both called that FXO was the favorite in this, and they definitely played to their name, but what did you think about the clan war?
Yeah, I mean, Rox.Kis definitely the underdog going to that into that clan war against FXO. Not too surprising to see the 3-1 result, but congratulations to FXO. They're now up to 3-0, I think you said before, and Rox.Kis down to 0-3. You know, you never want to be in that situation. They have to basically win out if they want to get into the playoffs. But yeah, it was a pretty good clan war. Lots of entertaining games, lots of great players going at it on these relatively unique maps. I mean, I don't know if we mentioned this was in fact Artifice. You don't see many games on this map, but yeah, it was entertaining. I had a lot of fun, Gretorp.
Yep, and always a pleasure casting with the Axeltoss. So that being said, do you have any last words before we actually part our ways in this particular cast?
Sure. I mean, if you like my stuff, you can follow me on Twitter, which is @AxelToss. I also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/AxelTossSC. If you want to support me, you can subscribe to me there. Other than that, I'm good, I think. I mean, if you have any feedback, people at home, let me know. I'm always down to hear feedback. So once again, thanks for having me on, Gretorp.
Well, of course, AxelToss, always great to have you, and thank you all to all the viewers out there that have been tuning in. I do want to mention a couple of things before we actually end this. First, a big shout out and thanks to our sponsors, the people that made this possible. First, EIZO monitors. EIZO is our monitor supplier here at the NASL. Also, iBuyPower. Gotta love them. You can see those computers on the side over there. They're the ones that have been powering the NASL and keeping us running. So a big thanks to iBuyPower. Go check them out. Also, Kingston HyperX, Cooler Master, and last but not least, Beyond Gaming. I want to give a special thanks again to AxelToss for coming in and casting with me today. Also, if you missed any of the action, you can check it out on our YouTube account, youtube.com/NAStarLeague. Also, follow us and friend us, like us, everything on Facebook and Twitter. We are NASL TV. Check out the website, NASL.tv, for more information about the NSQ that I was talking about, the next season qualifiers. We were talking about it, that there is a $1,000 prize pool to it, single elimination bracket, 8 qualify, and those 8 will move on for the NASL Season 3. What can we expect from NASL Season 3? Well, you can see it, better production quality. You can see the 1080p. I hope you guys enjoy that and love it, because a lot of people have been talking about it, and it's great to see Reddit threads and Team Liquid threads about it. But obviously, better quality in our streaming. We also have a better format that allows for better games. Not only do we have a more flexible schedule with the players, but we also have the almost like show matches for everything in the group stages. It really helps out so that everything, every single game is important for each of the players. They want to play their best, and hopefully we will get the best possible games for you viewers at home. But that being said, that's going to do it for me today. So from everybody here at the NASL studio, thank you for tuning in. I'm Gretorp, signing out. I'll catch you next time.
Well,
apparently.
Actually, your teammate in Control once called me the God of Cheese.
Really?
The God of Cheese. So I believe I'm way ahead of you again, Jake.
Frick. It's okay. It's alright. I'll be the bigger man today and not say anything since we're casting.